Hi guys, my name is Daryl, and today I'd like to show you the exercises that are in Vince Gironda's Master Series Volume 10. Now if you're following along in my book InVINCEable, this is on page 349. If you don't have a copy of InVINCEable and still would like to get one, you can go to my website at www.darylconant.com. You can get the PDF version or you can get the softcover version. So now I'd like to show you the exercises that are in Volume 10. Now guys, I want to show you the alternating overhead pull down. Now I've demonstrated this exercise in previous volumes, and there's been just a little nuances that are different. And that's the thing with Vince's exercises. Sometimes they would be illustrated a little differently and shown, and as the years progressed he would change it up and make little tweaks to it. And so if you weren't paying attention, you would miss the little changes that he would put in those programs. And this is one of those cases. And so there's the overhead pull down that I've demonstrated before, where you're sitting underneath a pull down bar and the pulley is directly overhead, and then you pull the chest up and you bring the bar down to the low pectoral line, and then you'd bring it up and over and then come down and lean into it and touch the back as far down as you can into your back. So if that's all you have with the overhead pull down, then that's fine, that'll work. And I think Vince showed that in other volumes and workouts, because a lot of guys couldn't work out at his gym, and so they have to adapt to the equipment that they have. So this is one of those cases. But the ideal position for this particular exercise that's in volume 10, so you want to sit back 24 inches from the overhead pull down cable. And so that's going to give you a different angle, so you're going to be more of in a leaning position here, more so than if you were just underneath up here and then pulling back. This one really isolates the attachments right at the spine, so you can really feel the connection of the medial aspect of the lats, and it's a whole different feel than doing it just regular standard pull down. So I'm going to grab the straight bar 28 inches wide, and here you're going to lean forward. So I'm sitting back 24 inches away from the high pulley, and you're going to lean forward here, and then we're going to pull down, and as you pull, you're going to arch the back, bring the chest up, and go right down to the low pectoral line, and then come back slow, and then you exhale, and then inhale, exhale. So you want to look up, because that'll keep your chest high. Exhale. Go right to the low pectoral line, then come back up. So you lean, so you want to be at that, you want to sit back 24 inches so that you can have that nice stretch and lean. You're still keeping your back neutral, and then exhale. And go right to the pectoral line. So that's the first part. This is an alternating exercise, but I'm just breaking down both pieces for you, so then I'll put it all together in a minute. But then the back part, you're going to lean forward, and then you're going to pull behind you, and come down as far as you can. Then you inhale, exhale, and we're still arching the back here. You don't want to concave the chest. Inhale, exhale. And you pull right in tight. Inhale. And exhale. Elbows out wide. Pull. Keep the chest up. And then you come back. So then it will look like this when you put it both together. So you exhale for the front. Look up. Low pectoral line. And then come up. Lean. And then exhale. Contract. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale. So this particular exercise takes a little bit of practice, but once you get it, it really hits the medial aspect of the back. So it's a great contraction because you're pulling down through, and you can really hit the sort of that Christmas tree area of the back. But it also really gets a good sweep. You're gonna get a really nice stretch to the lats, to the outside as well, to the lateral aspect. And I know this exercise probably looks like it looks really weird, but it's one of those exercises that when you are doing it, you can really feel the engagement of the lats. It takes a little bit of practice. And so I know there's controversy when you bring the bar over your head and, and things like that, but this is an exercise that Vince taught me, and it really works well for me, and something that I'll always do. So if you have issues with your shoulders and neck, and you don't want to challenge yourself and you just want to continue doing the same old thing, then do that. But if you want to give yourself a new exercise, try something different, this is definitely going to do that. And again, it's like with all Vince's exercises, if it doesn't feel good for you, if it hurts you in any way, if your shoulders aren't, flexible enough or whatever reason, just don't do it. I mean, it's plain and simple, that's how this stuff works. And so, I always get all these weird emails of, with the exercises and how I'm going to blow out my shoulders and my rotator cuffs and all that. And I've yet to do any of that. Haven't had one injury from training. And so they work great. And this is another great one. Guys, that is the alternating overhead pull down. Now I'm going to demonstrate the Gironda dip. I'll be using the Larry Scott dip stand. Now in volume 10, this is a compound routine, so you'd be doing the Gironda dip and then immediately going over to the neck press. So you go back and forth with those two exercises. But here is the Gironda dip. You're just going to step up. Elbows wide and back. You're going to keep your head down with your feet pointing to the floor, and you're going to be in a crescent position. And you're going to stretch the pectorals, exhale, come up 3/4 of the way, come back down, inhale, and then down here you're going to do 2 bumps, 1, 2, and then push right up. Inhale, so the key points here are you want to maintain that crescent position with the chin on your chest. You want to go down and get that stretch. The elbows have to be flared out to the back. You're going to get a really deep stretch to the pectorals. And then you're going to exhale, push yourself up. So when you push up, don't fully extend the arms. You want to keep the elbows slightly bent. It's about 3/4 of the way up. Then you hold and you go down and get that stretch. 2 bounces, come back up. And guys, that is the Gironda dip. So guys, here's the Gironda neck press. I've demonstrated this in other volumes, and I've shown you both the Gironda neck press and the Larry Scott style neck press, but today I'm just going to show you the Gironda neck press again. So you can do this exercise either on a Smith machine, which I do prefer, or you can do it with just a regular barbell on an Olympic bench type of a setup. But what you're going to do is going to get down. And so with the Gironda neck press, you want to keep your arms so that your elbows are going to be 90 degrees when you come down. And you come down all the way to the top of the sternum at the clavicular line. And the elbows are back here, not up here in front, but they're back underneath the bar. And then you're going to exhale when you push up. And you inhale, come down, and then you exhale and push. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale, then inhale, and exhale. So the neck press, real simple. You want the arms 90 degrees coming down just at the base of the neck. And you want to just get the stretch, exhale, and push straight up. And then when you come all the way back up, don't fully lock the elbows. You want to keep the elbows slightly bent when you're in that extended position, so you can keep tension on the chest at all times. And I don't use a lot of weight when I'm doing demonstrations, so I can lift a lot more than just the bar. But this is a great exercise. And guys, that is the Vince Gironda neck press. Okay, now guys, I just want to show you this is up and down the rack. This is a great way to blast any muscle group. It's best like doing biceps, shoulders, chest. It's intense, but it's a great super giant set that you can do to really shock the muscle group. And then in volume 10, Vince has us doing the lateral raise, a standing lateral raise up and down the rack. And I've demonstrated the lateral raise in earlier volumes, but I'll demonstrate it again, but then kind of show you how the up and down the rack works. So what you want to do, you want to grab a weight that you can do pretty easy, that you can do about 4 reps with. And then what you're going to do is just continue on and progress up to the rack as far as you can, where you can only do 2 reps. And then you'd put it down and go right back down to the starting position again, each incremental weight at a time. Typically you want to be facing the mirror. You want to keep your feet, heels together, toes flared out, knees slightly bent. And you want to sort of round out the shoulders here. You want to keep the dumbbells in front of you. So you'll be in this position like this. And so you're kind of in a hunched position here with the shoulders. You don't want to be standing straight up. So you want to be kind of hunched over here like this. And then when we raise up, you're going to flare the arms up to the side. And when you do that, you're going to turn the pinkies higher than the thumbs. So they're going to be out in front of you like this. And you come back down. Inhale. Exhale as you go up. And so when you're doing this, you want to keep the dumbbells out in front of you just a little bit. So you don't want to be directly to the side. So you don't want to be here going out directly. So you're keeping the dumbbells out in front of you up in here. So they're almost like just in front of your face a little bit. So here. Like that. So that way it's going to isolate the medial deltoid really well. You're not going to encourage the trapezius to jump in there and help out. So that's why you kind of stay in that hunched over position, and then you go up with your arms like this, just at that sort of that 90-degree position, and it works really well. So the format is you grab the dumbbells, you do 4 reps, put them down, shake the arms, go up to the next weight increment, take them and go into your 4 reps, put them down, shake the arms, go to the next increment, and you keep going all the way until you can only do 2 reps. You can cheat just a little bit. Vince would call this creative cheating, where you just kind of throw those, a little bit of momentum into it. You wouldn't do that for on all of them, but just when it gets really heavy, you get those last couple of reps in, bang them out, put them down, and then go right back down to the starting position. So by the time you get back down, I mean, your shoulders are absolutely smoked. And that's why I love doing up and down the rack, because it's going to hit it really hard and fast and furious. And so you can get a great blood pump. And then once you're done with that, then you go into Larry Scott's shoulder press. And that's the one where we take the dumbbells and your elbows are here, and then what you're doing, you're snapping your elbows back and you're bringing your head forward like this. So you're actually doing a press. It's the 3/5 part of the movement of the press. I see a lot of guys do this incorrectly. They do the Arnold press where they come in like this and they turn, and then they're sweeping their arms all the way up. So this one, what we're doing is we're just snapping the elbows back and up. So it's right there, right? So when you do that, that's going to activate the posterior deltoid. And so it's a great exercise, and it doesn't cause any type of shoulder impingement. When you go up too high with a dumbbell, that can put too much stress on the supraspinatus, and that can over time cause some shoulder irritation and maybe a little bit of impingement, and we don't want that. So this particular exercise is you're flaring the elbows out and snapping those elbows. And so that's Larry Scott's dumbbell press. And so you would do those 2 exercises back to back, and it's absolute murder. So you do the lateral raises first, go all the way up and down the rack, And then you're going to go ahead and do Larry Scott's dumbbell press. So if you want to know how many sets and reps of these exercises to do, then just follow along in my book, Invincible. I have it all outlined, and you can just use that as a reference and follow from there. But these are 2 great exercises. I'm telling you, your shoulders will be absolutely smoked after these, and you'll just get that nice big cannonball deltoid. And this is how you do it. So you go up and down the rack, and then we're going to follow that up with doing Larry Scott's dumbbell press. And so that's the lateral raise and the Larry Scott dumbbell press. Okay, now guys, I'm going to show you the dumbbell pullover. And in this exercise, you want to use a flat bench. I'm going to use 2 dumbbells. You're going to bring it so that your head is over the bench here. Keep your feet up, either on the bench or you can keep them crossed. But you're going to lie back. Now you're going to drop the dumbbells down, so underneath the bench. So you're going to get a really good stretch here. And then you're going to pull them up. So you want to keep your elbows in close. Don't let your elbows flare out here. That's incorrect. So you want to keep your elbows in close, and then we're going to curl, and then you're going to extend the dumbbells so they're actually going out 70 degrees in extension here. So you come back down, underneath, and exhale, and then contract. Inhale, stretch, and then drive the elbows up, and then extend the arms. So you come in, inhale, inhale, stretch, elbows in close, inhale, so what are you doing? You're bringing your arm, elbows leading the way first, and then you lay on the contraction. So you come in, stretch, then contract. So it's important here to understand that when you got to keep those elbows in close, don't let them flare out. And then rather than going directly over your head, you want to go over your chest. So you come over, you bring the elbows to the chest, and then you extend the arms. So it has that little bit of an angle to it. And that really is going to hit the triceps much greater than if you're just going like that. The typical, I guess they call them like nose crushers here, like this or something like this. They don't really do anything. So you want to get back here, and then you're driving the elbows, and then you go into that contraction. So you're locking right into that position, just like that. And then the next exercise is an incline dumbbell curl. And now this one requires a bench. You want to be set at 45 degrees. Now these benches are awesome by Rogue because they have all the different positions on the bench. So you can go right to 45 degrees. You can do 60 degrees, 30 degrees. So this has every angle possible. So these benches are great. If you don't have this particular angle, then just do the best you can, but 45 is optimal. And so what you want to do is you're going to grab the dumbbells, keep your legs crossed. You got to lie back. You want to curl into the exercise. So you don't want to be back here with your head back. You're actually bringing your chin to your chest here. Elbows are going to stay back. And on this particular exercise, we're going to curl both dumbbells up at the same time. And so you're going to curl, and you lean into it. And then you come back, stretch the biceps, then exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Keep your elbows close to the body. Exhale. Now when you come back in the stretch position, you can look up just for a split second. And then as you curl, bring your head back down. And you want to curl into it. Lean into the exercise. Inhale. Exhale. You're touching the dumbbell, the inside dumbbell to the shoulder, to the deltoid. Okay, now guys, I'm going to show is off the knee wrist curl. And now what you want to do here, you want to use a flat bench and a straight bar, and you're going to grab the bar, and the bar is going to rest on the bench. So this is important because you can use a lot of weight. When I demonstrate, I don't use a lot of weight because I want to be able to talk through the exercise. So that's why whenever you see me demonstrating these exercises, I use very light weight. Some guys have mentioned, like, why don't you ever use heavy weight and do this real exercise? And so it's just hard to talk at the same time when you're cranking out, hundreds of pounds or whatever. And so here's the exercise. You want to start with the bar on the bench, and you want your legs straddling the bench, and you want your wrist to break off the knee. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab the bar with your fingertips extended, and then you're going to curl the bar up with the fingers first, and then you're going to go into the wrist cock, and you're going to really contract the forearms as tight as possible. So we're going to lean back just a little bit to get a little bit of a stretch onto the forearms, and then as you progress with the movement, you're going to lean forward into it. So we're going to go up with the fingers first, curl the fingers, and then you're going to contract, lean into it as hard as you can here, and then you're going to release. As you're going back down with the bar, you're leaning back just a little bit to stretch the forearms. Let the bar touch the bench again, and then that split second for a rest, and then you're going to exhale. You're going to curl up the fingers again, and then you're going to wrist cock and really crank as hard as you can into contraction, and then you release. And then back down, and you curl up, fingers first, and then contract as tight as possible, leaning into it, and then you release, come off it, lean back, let the bar touch the bench. So every time it touches the bench, you want to relax the muscle just for a split second. And then you're going to reload and come back up and contract and hit it as hard as possible. Now this exercise is a really good one because you can crank up a lot of weight on this, and it really builds the forearm flexors. So it's a great exercise, and it really helps develop the bowling pin forearms. That's what Larry Scott used to call them. He used to say if you wanted bowling pin forearms, then you want to do heavy wrist curls. And this is the one that's going to get you there. So that's a great exercise. It is in volume 10. This is off the knee wrist curl. Now guys, I'm going to show you the three-way sissy squat. I've demonstrated this in other past volumes. I figured I'd demonstrate it again. So this is just a regular 2x4. Now in other versions I've used an aerobic step. I prefer the step myself because I can put it against the wall. And it allows me, it has a little bit higher platform, so I can really push off it with my feet as I do the thrust or the burlesque bump. But you can still do pretty well with the 2x4. But this is just another variation. This is how Vince would do it. So you're going to grab the bar and clean it up onto your shoulders here. And there's three parts to this exercise. The first part is called the knee drop. Now the knee drop, it's like you have an imaginary line on the floor, and you're going to try to go down with your knees to that point. So it looks like this. So you're going down, it's like a sissy squat here, and you're keeping your hips forward, just like that. Now that's the knee drop. You would do 3 to 7 reps of the knee drop first. So the second part is the burlesque bump. So you come down, and then you thrust your hips forward, and then you sit back down, and then you thrust, and then you sit, and you thrust. So that's the second part. So on that one, you do 3 to 7 reps as well. The third part will be the combination of 1 and 2 together. So you actually do the knee drop, and then you go into the burlesque bump. And so you do 3 to 7 reps in this position at the end. So it's down, then you drop in, and then you stand back up. So it's down, down, thrust, then stand. And come up. So this exercise has 3 parts to it. You have the knee drop. So you do that 3 to 7 times, and then you go into the burlesque bump. You do 3 to 7 reps of those, and then you do what's called the flushing, which is the knee drop and then the burlesque bump. Then you stand back up again, and you do that 3 to 7 times. So this is an absolute killer, especially if you use any type of weight. This is just a weighted bar. It's about 35 pounds. You don't want to use a lot of weight when you do this when you first do it, because it's really, really demanding. So always use light weight and then progress your way up to heavier weight and really master the form first, and then you can move up. And guys, that is the sissy squat that is in volume 10. So now guys, I'm going to show you the 45-degree hack slide. It's in volume 10. So you want to use a hack slide that has a 45-degree plate. So you're angled at 45 degrees. You're going to go up on your toes, heels together. You're going to hold on to the bottom edge of the platform. You're going to keep your chin on your chest. You're going to inhale, flare the knees out. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale as you come up. Inhale. And exhale. When you come all the way up, don't lock out completely. You're going to keep the knees slightly bent. That's going to keep the tension on the legs at all times. So the key points, you're going to go up on your toes, heels together, knees flared, hold on to the bottom edge of the platform. You're going to slide down, you're going to bring the knees all the way out, flare them out, come up, press your heels together. And then when you come up to the top, don't fully lock out. So this is a great exercise, and you can go easy with it at first, and then you can add more weight as you get better at it. And guys, that is the 45-degree hack slide. Okay, now guys, I want to show you the seated toe raise. Now any seated calf machine will work, but you want to do this with your shoes off. So you want to be in bare feet. That will allow for the best range and contractibility of the calves. When you wear shoes, it inhibits your full range of motion, and you're just not going to get the same type of intensity on the calf and with that deep contraction. So do it with your shoes off. Then you got to lift off. Now you want to drop your heels down, get a full stretch, and then we're going to come up. As with the heels come up, you want to put all your pressure on your big toes as you're coming up, and you want to turn your heels in as tight as possible. You get up there and hold peak contraction for 1 to 2 seconds. Then you come back down. You get a good stretch. Exhale as you come up. And again, going up onto the big toes and bringing your heels in together. Hold for 1 to 2 seconds, then come back down. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. So it's pretty straightforward. The key here is to do all calf exercises with your shoes off, and that's just going to allow you to get the best contraction on the calves. Vince always told us to do. It's something I've always done, and it seems to work. And guys, that is the seated toe raise. Okay, now guys, I'm going to show you the standing calf raise. You can do this. They have standing calf machines, which are really good, or you can use a Smith machine. And what you do is you want to have a calf block. So you're going to position the calf block about 11 inches away from the bar. So that way you can just get a deeper stretch onto the calf. And again, like the seated calf raise, you want to do these in bare feet. It's always better to do your calf work in bare feet. And so what you're going to do is just going to unload, and then you're going to go down, get a deep stretch here onto the calves, drop your heels all the way down. Then you're going to exhale, come all the way up onto your big toes and pull your heels in. Drop back down, inhale, stretch, exhale, all the way up onto the big toe, come down, stretch, and then exhale, and inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. So the key here is when you're going up, is that you want to go up onto the big toes and then you're turning your heels in. So you're going all the way and try to touch your heels together as you come back all the way up to the top. Come back down, stretch, and then go all the way up. And you're pulling in your heels. And that way you're going to get just a deeper contraction. It's really going to create those diamond-shaped calves. If you don't pull your heels in to go up onto the big toes, and you kind of just go up on your smaller toes, that's going to actually ruin the look of the calves. You'll start to develop more of the outside part of the calf, and that can almost create like a bowed-legged look to your symmetry. So when you go up, you want to come up and really turn the heels in, and then go up onto the big toes, hold that contraction for 1 to 2 seconds, and then come back down. And the key is to get that really deep stretch all the way down. So you want your heels to go as far down as possible, get as much stretch as possible, and then come up and hit the high point on the calves by going all the way up onto the toes and pulling your heels in. It's a great exercise and it's really good for developing those diamond-shaped calves. And guys, that is the standing toe raise, otherwise known as the standing calf raise. Okay, now guys, I'm going to show you the incline stiff leg raise. It's in volume 10. Now on this one, you want to have a flat bench. You want to prop it up on a block about 10 inches high. You're going to lie down, and what you want to take your hands in this type of a position here. You want to support your sacrum. And so you're going to lie down and position your hands so you can support your sacrum. You're going to point your toes to the wall, keep your legs straight. Now it's important, you don't want to get down too low because you don't want the back to pop up here. That'll hurt your lower back. So you want to keep your lower back tight to the bench and keep your legs about 45 degrees to start. And then you want to kind of lean back just a little bit. And then as you exhale, you're going to pull forward with your head and shoulders as your legs come in. Then inhale, release. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now when you're coming in, you're trying to bring your legs as close to your forehead as possible. So key points are, I'm going to point your toes, legs straight, back is firmly pressed against your hands, against the bench. Keep your abdomen really tight. You're going to start with your shoulders back just a little bit. And then as you contract, you want to bring your chest and head up so that as you bring your legs up, you're going to meet them in the middle. And you're going to try to touch your forehead to your legs. And that is the incline stiff leg raise. Now guys, I'm going to show you this is the incline 1/4 sit-up. And so you want to be on a flat bench and you want to prop it up about 10 inches high. And on this one, you're going to go the opposite direction that you were just in on the incline stiff leg raise. So this time our head's going to be down lower than our feet. And here you want to hook the end of the bench. So you want to, just your heels are going to be pressing against the bench. And this is important because as you are doing the contraction, you're going to pull in your heels on the bench, and that's going to actually activate the hamstrings isometrically, which will turn off the hip flexors, and it will allow for a much more isolated contraction on the rectus abdominis. And so you're going to lie back. Now here it's important, you want to pull the abdominals in and up, so you're expanding the rib cage here. So you're getting like a vacuum effect. So if you inhale, you get this vacuum. So your rib cage will come up. You're going to put your hands behind your head, and then you're going to exhale. And then as you pull up, you're going to pull on your heels so you can isometrically contract the hamstrings. And then as you come into contraction, get all the air out. Inhale as you come back,
And again, you want to go into that vacuum effect, so you're pulling in the abdominals and expanding the rib cage. Here, inhale, exhale, blow all the air out, inhale, expand, exhale, contract, inhale, pull in, contract, exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale.
So the key points to this is that you want to hook your heels at the edge of the bench so that you can pull in, isometrically contract the hamstrings. And then when you're lying down, hands behind your head, and then exhale, and you're going to blow all the air out and contract your abdominals as tight as possible, get all the air out, and then you will come back into extension. So the key here is really getting all the air out. So you want to blow all the air out to get the abdominals as tight as possible. And after doing a couple of sets of these, you're really going to feel it in your rectus abdominis. It's a great way to define the abdominals. It'll create that nice tapered look to your torso, and that's what Vince would do. He would do these two exercises when he was getting ready for a contest. So you would do a compound of these two in volume 10. And guys, that is the incline 1/4 sit-up. So there you have it, guys. Those are the exercises in volume 10 of Vince Gironda's Master Series. Now, if you have any questions or would like to learn more about my book, Invincible or Convinced, or learn about my other programs that I offer, you can check out my website at www.darylconant.com. I want to thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.